Welcome back to another edition of the Penn State 365 podcast. I'm your host, Richie O'Leary, and joined as always when we're talking football and football recruiting, Happy Valley Insider's very own Dylan Callahan-Crawley. Dylan, Penn State landed was previously unranked, now four-star tight end prospect, and Matt Henderson the other day out of Virginia. Talk a little bit about how this one came together.
Yeah, so Penn State's been evaluating Henderson now for quite a while, going back to last fall. And at that point, he was still a wide receiver, basically in his high school offense. I mean, anyway, tight ends at the high school level are, players who go on to be tight ends at the college level usually are just wide receivers in high school. But Henderson, 6'5", obviously is going to translate to a tight end down the road. But he was somebody they were evaluating for the last, 9 months or whatever it's been. And just to see how he's been progressing, how he's been doing, and what they asked him to get better at before getting an offer. Mm-hmm. Ty Howell went out there last month to evaluate him in person, and everything, went really well in that evaluation or in that session, practice, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
A couple days later, Henderson gets the offer. And at the time he picked up that offer, Michigan State was probably the leader in the recruitment. He felt really good about Michigan State and the potential there. But the Penn State offer is one that he wanted. He told us as much in our recent story with him as he broke down his commitment. And once Penn State came through with that offer, it was always going to be Penn State as long as the Nittany Lions wanted him. And they absolutely loved what they saw out of him in the spring when Ty Howell went there to watch. And then you look at just his production, you look at the athleticism numbers, you look at the family pedigree from an athleticism standpoint. Everything checks the boxes for Matt Henderson, even off the field, high GPA. He said in his story, but when he decided he wanted to commit to Penn State, he had that conversation with his family. He just got home from work that night. Now, there's a lot of recruits out there that work, but you add in that he's a four-star prospect. He's working, during the offseason. He has a GPA well above 4.0. He's a guy who checks all the boxes for Penn State. One of those true, five-tool players, quote unquote. Somebody who will have impacts on the field, impact in the classroom, and impact in community, which Penn State truly likes. I guess you could say a three-tool player. But you look at the numbers last year: 74 receptions, 1,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. He has about a 4.65 40, 35-inch vertical. This is a tremendous athlete at that tight end position. And somebody who's going to fit this Penn State tight end room really well, fits the mold of what they've been recruiting the last couple of years under Ty Howell and dating back even before him. So really good pickup here for Penn State.
Yeah, it seems like almost like a Luke Reynolds type of tight end. We're more a hybrid guy, I guess, at this point, but will develop into a tight end. And that's kind of where position's going. It's more of a receiver now than anything else.
Right.
Yeah, so don't be shocked to see a little bit. I guess most of these guys coming in are just skinnier, faster, quicker on routes, quicker breaking off routes.
He'll definitely have to gain some weight, reportedly 210, 215 right now. Yeah. But some other offers, though: Connecticut, Maryland, Michigan State, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Virginia Tech. This is a kid who really blew up this spring in particularly. Picked up an offer from Michigan State on April 10th. And then it really just took off from there. UConn offered a couple days before, but after that, he picked up most of his big offers.
Yeah, a ton of Ivy League offers too. Kid's obviously a smart kid, like you mentioned, high GPA. He's been to Penn State before. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Penn State in October.
That's what it was.
And then he came back in January, and he will be on an official visit the weekend of June 14th, which is when all the commits will be on campus. But 4.475 GPA. So
one tight end committed Do we think they get a second one? Because I know we still have our future cast in for Andrew Olish, the in-state tight end.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be two tight ends in this class, Matt Henderson being one, and then the second one I think is going to be either Andrew Olish or, of course, as I now want to say it, I'm blanking on his name,
Lincoln Carroll?
Lennon out of
Brody Lennon, yes.
Brody Lennon out of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two I think that are the most likely to be the next commit for Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to give Andrew Olish every chance to commit before they give another kid another opportunity to commit to the program. So
Yeah.
I still think Olish is the most likely, but watch for Brody Lennon if the Olish recruitment does not go Penn State's way.
Yeah, and Brody Lennon's going to be on campus not this Sunday, but next Sunday following the All-22 camp.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. And then I think the dead period goes into effect right after that. I think it's the weekend after that, actually. But yeah, no, definitely keep an eye on that. If he's going to be at campus again, plus he has an official visit, plus Lincoln Kira has an official visit, Andrew Olish, I think we're kind of starting to see those top three, but you kind of mentioned probably just the top two at the moment.
Right.
But right now, Penn State is ranked number 8 in team recruiting rankings, number 13 total commits. You actually got to see one of those commits yesterday. You were out at Aliquippa's showcase day, I think it's called.
Yeah, Aliquippa put on a really nice showcase yesterday. There's a ton of talent there. Not obviously just FBS, but a lot of kids on that team are going to end up going and playing college football at no matter the level. But yeah, Saw Hayes, he did some early work, but then stopped after going through some cone drills. So not sure if he tweaked something there, but he looked good of what I saw of him. I think what stands out is he is definitely a big kid up top, but still needs to add a little bit more mass to his lower body and his legs. But that's going to come in time once he hits Penn State's strength and conditioning program. But yeah, got to talk to him briefly. Everything's going well with Penn State. Don't see any worries there, and
it's good.
Yeah, he was definitely solid. It was solid to see him work up close. But I would definitely say the star of the show was, and who everybody was there for, was 2027 cornerback Larry Moon, the third. Really impressive young cornerback. I've said a lot. I've went to a Pitt camp last year, which had a lot of talent. And I think Moon was the best cornerback at that camp as a 8th grader, basically, at the time.
Yeah.
And he was one of the best cornerbacks, I think, in the state this past year as a freshman at Pittsburgh Central Catholic, now at Aliquippa. Yeah, he's a special young talent, almost 20 offers. It's going to be a tough recruitment for Penn State to win.
Yeah, he's got 19 offers right now. 15 of them are Power 5s or Power 4s. Sorry. But yeah, no, I know you sent me some clips. We posted one of him running routes as a receiver, and it's like, shit, man, like this kid could play both ways. Like, I know he's a very talented corner, but like his receiver skills are kind of there too. So
yeah, he's a true athlete. He's gonna play cornerback at the next level. He's just too good as a cornerback. But yeah, he's definitely a true athlete and is gonna make impacts on both sides of the football for the Quips this fall. So, but like I said, special talent. The offer sheet proves that he's gonna be well above 30, 40 offers by the time his recruitment wraps up in a couple of years.
I don't want to jump the gun here and go too far into this, but I'm looking at Aliquippa's like all-time recruits, best cornerback recruit from there since Darrelle Revis.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. And they've obviously have had quite a strong amount of recruits come out of there over the last. What year was Revis?
2004.
Yeah, quite a good amount of recruits coming out there the last 20 years. But he may not just be the best cornerback. He could be maybe the best to come out of there since. How many 5-stars have they had since?
Well, Revis wasn't even a 5-star technically,
right.
So I don't think they've ever had a 5-star per se.
I'm not sure Moon's going to be a 5-star himself. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess probably somewhere between a mid to high 4-star. But
Mm-hmm.
I think this is absolutely one of the top 250 kids in the nation for 2027
Oh
kids.
yeah, for sure. Other recruiting news. I don't know if we talked about it or not, but I guess we didn't. I got to see DJ McClary this weekend. I got to see actually a couple of Penn State targets this weekend, commits this weekend. DJ McClary has a official visit to Rutgers on May 31st. Right now, I don't think he ends up taking that. And even if he does, I'm still pretty confident Penn State will win that one out. The other target I got to see was Lex Cyrus. I thought he was pretty good. It was a weird camp. It was the Under Armour, New Jersey camp. So
Yep.
there was no slot receivers, I guess, or no one wanted to run slot. Everyone wants to be the outside guy.
Yep.
So Lex Cyrus was like, fuck it, and just kept going slot after. Like he would get in every rep because they would rotate slot, outside. He was one of two slot receivers and would literally just keep going and going and going and going. I'm like, all right. I mean, hey, if you want more reps, go for it. But
Yeah, kid's got a motor.
yeah, no, he looked really good. I was actually very impressed. I did see him previously last year. I was like, meh. Then when I started hearing that Penn State was in the lead for him, we put in the future cast. I was like, meh. Then I saw him this weekend. I'm like, okay, now it kind of makes sense a little bit. I think he's very talented. I kind of wish he played anywhere else but Susquehanna, but it's besides the point. I like seeing kids go against the best of the best comp, and it's okay. It's not great.
Right.
But he does have an official to South Carolina following the weekend of Penn State's on May 31st. So South Carolina, June 7th, Penn State, May 31st. I don't know if he ever makes that visit either. I think it might just be wrapped up May 31st, and that might be it. But, yeah, it's a very talented kid.
Yeah, I think he's also a prospect. You know, we have it as a 3-star right now. I think there's a chance for him to, you know, push for that 4th star, whether that be the next update or the update after that one. But I think he has a chance to earn that 4th star soon. Worth noting, by the way, Rivals, at least at the time of Matt Henderson's commitment, had more Penn State commits ranked as 4 stars than anybody else in the industry.
Interesting.
And we also have Penn State, I believe, ranked the highest across the industry, currently at number 8. But I think Cyrus has a chance to earn that 4th star. He's had a really good spring. And it's easy to see why Penn State does like him. And like you said, it's really beginning to show. And I think he's scratching the surface of what his real potential is. And that's another thing about Matt Henderson, going back to him. Both Henderson and myself agreed that he is really just scratching that surface of what his potential is.
Oh, yeah.
As a tight end and as a football player in general. Also a standout basketball player. He thought his future was going to be on the hardwood instead of the gridiron for a while up until the last few months. But both players just, I think, are scratching the surface of what they could be. So that should be an interesting recruitment to watch here going into official visit season. And I wouldn't be shocked either if he takes that official visit to Penn State and the Nittany Lions are able to wrap it up. Ultimately, I think it's either going to be Penn State or Kentucky, and I feel like Penn State has a good lead heading into that portion of his recruitment.
Yeah, I feel like we always hear, going back to the basketball thing, we always hear these like wide receivers, tight ends. Yeah, I thought I was going to play basketball. And then it's like, someone sees you and they're like, oh shit, he has hands. Never mind, dude, come play football. But switching over to some team news, we had some interesting news this week. Keon Wylie is expected to miss what we were told, quote unquote, extended period of time with an injury. How bad is it? Do we expect him to be back this season? I know he didn't appear in the spring game this past April, so it sounds like it's probably pretty serious if I had to guess.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I haven't heard specifics of what the injury is, but I do think this is something we're gonna. I would not expect Keon Wylie to play for at least the first half of the season. I think we can probably, by first half, I mean, I think it'll be pushing it to see him in September and maybe even October. But and that'll be just something we circle back on as fall camp begins and the season really gets underway. We could circle back and see where things are. But I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of try to maybe chalk it up and get a medical red shirt out of it since he already has that red shirt. Even if he is gets healthy this season, I'm not sure he's going to be in a point to make an impact on the field, which is sounds weird to say because he was going to have a big role this year, and I think he can make an impact on the field.
Mm.
But you got to rehab, and then once you rehab, can you get back to full strength
Yeah.
to make that impact? And I think that'll be tough. I haven't heard an exact timeline, but based off what I have heard, I think at least the first half of the season seems to be in doubt, and then we can circle back, like I said, and reevaluate closer to then.
So let me ask you this. Now that Wylie's gone, the linebacker room's a little different this year for starters. Number one, Wylie's probably out for significant time. Abdul Carter's now at edge rusher. Now, it seems like Tom Allen's going to run a lot of nickel with just 2 linebacker sets. How does this kind of shake out now? Because I'm assuming Kobe King's definitely one starter. The other starter, I guess you could argue, could be Elston, could be Rojas. I don't know. How do you kind of see them going that way?
Yeah, I think Rojas is absolutely going to start on the one side there, and then what happens to Riley's a spot? I think you can. So right now, I think you got Rojas, you got King, both locked in. I Elston will back up King in the middle, and then I could see DeLuca again the other side, but I also think DeLuca is primarily going to back up Tony Rojas. It could be interesting to see if Kavion Keys or Tamir Robinson can do anything on that opposite side, but I think DeLuca, Keys, and Robinson are those 3 to watch on that right side. Or that.
Go on.
Yeah, no, I'm just the same.
Yeah. I know after talking to Marty a little bit, he was kind of trying to say that Jalen Reed is probably going to move up to that Sam spot in non-passing situations, more of like a 3 safety type set. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's definitely going to be interesting.
And that's true. While it does hurt Penn State's depth, the fact that they are going to use 3 safety sets quite a bit this year does help kind of ease the burden of that loss because you're going to have one less linebacker on the field to begin with.
Yep. I think you could see DeLuca kind of slide back a little bit too. He is a little bit on the lighter end. Play that Sam role. I know it's going to be a different defense for sure, though, under Tom Allen. But other news, Malik Mega, Coastal Carolina. Cool, I guess. I don't think anyone should be super shocked by that. And then King Mack. King Mack is taking some visits, it sounds like. Sounds like he visited Alabama last week. Visited Rutgers recently, which was an odd one. I didn't see that one coming personally. But other than that, I don't think there's really anything else. Penn State basketball schedule came out.
Yeah, it's been a rather quiet week overall. Like you said, King Mack's visiting Alabama. Rutgers sounds like Alabama is probably going to be the spot. He has a couple former high school teammates there.
Wonder why.
Don't really get the Rutgers visit, but hey, it is local. What it is. And that basketball, tough basketball schedule for Penn State Big Ten wise. Our own Austin Mitchell did a little story on that, and Penn State has one of the toughest schedules in the Big Ten next year, based off of this past season. So, gonna be a tough road for Mike Rhodes and his team if they want to make a push for an NCAA tournament bid next season. Obviously, they have fulfilled all their scholarship spots via the transfer portal so far this spring. So the roster is complete. It's just now a matter of getting the team ready for next November.
Some tough roads ahead for Penn State basketball. RHOAD.
See what you did there.
Yes, there we go. Also, I know we haven't really talked about it, but he can't enter the portal now. So Ace Baldwin's staying. That's good news.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to be the best indication that he is staying. I guess there's always some crazy stuff that can happen in college basketball or college sports overall. But he's as of the closing of the transfer portal was still on the roster, so seems to be a pretty good indication.
Yeah, very excited to see what they can do this upcoming season. They've revamped a little bit. Didn't lose anyone really, so It's a good sign always. It's also a good sign for culture, and culture building is the key to
Yeah,
revamping a program, especially one like that that's been had its ups and downs over the past couple of years. We'll put it like that.
for sure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Wrestling, we had a wrestling pod yesterday. If you haven't checked it out already, we a lot of updates between lineup projections. Kirk comes back at heavyweight. David Taylor left. Obviously, some Penn State fans were a little heartbroken there, but I don't think there's really anything else. I mean, we're just kind of waiting here. Any future casts in the future? Any future casts in the future? Yeah.
There was. Let's see.
I know the one like I'm really like tempted to go like put in is Tommy Rupley.
Yeah, I think Tommy Rupley is probably that next guy on the list of ones to future cast.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has that official visit for June 21st, so he is a little bit further down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there's a great chance that he ends up in the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, sounds good.
That was kind of, not exactly like Henderson, but kind of like the Henderson offer, where once Penn State offered, it definitely seemed like it changed the recruitment.
Yeah, I know. After talking to him,
sure.
he's already like reshaped his entire visit schedule.
Yeah.
So he already took one to Northwestern in early May. I think it was last week actually. Plans on taking one to Boston College May 31st, Virginia, Duke, and then as long as he gets the Penn State one, which I don't see a reason why he wouldn't. I think it's all Penn State. So that's one I'm really keeping a close eye on. I know we have one in for Lex Cyrus, one in for Randy Adarica, who we went over previously. Is there any other new ones we're kind of looking at? I'm trying to see right now. I don't think so. Because
yeah, no, I mean,
Matt
I
Rubin,
will
maybe.
I will keep saying to. I know what the future cast read right now, but I keep hearing good things going back towards Penn State side for Jeff Exiner after his Virginia Tech official visit last month.
Yeah.
So I think Penn State still has a very good shot of landing him, and I'm not. I think there's a good chance that I eventually flip that back to Penn State here.
Interesting, because I know he was very, very close to committing to Virginia Tech. Following their visit, so
he definitely was. But I think this is one of those where the further we get away from that Virginia Tech OV, the longer Penn State has to gain that momentum back, and then they're going to get him on campus for an official visit. I mean, are any of his other OVs truly, true competition in this recruitment?
Michigan State, Penn State, Syracuse, then Maryland. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I think this is Penn State, Virginia Tech, and I don't think Syracuse or Maryland are really going to have a big chance in this one. So I think, as long as Penn State has a good OV there, and there's a great shot they do land him, just especially with that Virginia Tech OV coming in April. It's the risk you run with those April OVs is if they don't commit to you coming off that visit, you have to withstand 2 more months of other schools recruiting them and then host them for OVs. So I do think this has a really good chance of going Penn State's way.
I mean, listen, they almost got him, so I can't fault them for making an attempt. So I mean, it seems like a good attempt for them, but in the end, it seems like it probably won't work out in their favor. We'll see. Wait and see what kind of happens there. But any final thoughts, I guess, really, before we sign off?
That's all I got. That's all I got.
A shorter one today. But all right, for me and Dylan, that's another episode of the Penn State 365 podcast. Signing off.